Guys and dolls, it's Monday morning, quite early, and I've got quite a video to show you here. And, thought a wee bit about buying it, shoulda, shouldn't, and all the rest of it. Didn't really take me that much, it didn't take me that long to think about it. And I just want to say this before you watch this video, that this is the kind of thing that I know, okay? This is the kind of thing that our government is supporting. This is the kind of thing that other left-wing activists up and down the length of Britain are supporting every Saturday when they're marching alongside Palestinians. And your queers for Gaza or whatever it is, or queers for Palestine, people don't realise that in amongst these people are extremists, and they're in this country, and our government isn't doing anything about it. Our government are quite happy to let these type of people say the things that you're about to hear, but yet come down on people for claiming that somebody's a Muslim when they were, and put that man in jail for just telling the truth. Then anybody that tries to come out and speak up about the actions of these extremists and the horrific crimes that they've committed in the last 15 to 20 years, that's been silenced by the government. It's simply, with no other need for explanation, is why I worry about my wee Lucky, because this is what our future looks like.
He said that if there was to be another Nabi after me, it would be Umar ibn Khattab in his own charter, not charter of United Nations, in his charter with the people of Sham, with those Christians of Sham, in his charter was Kafir and Muslim, they're not allowed to wear the same clothes as one another.
So when you hear him saying kafar, it's kafar. It means, like it says in the translation, infidel. I tried to say the word the other day when I was out with one of my dogs. Kafar means us, me, Christians.
If the Muslim, he comes out on the day of Eid and he sees Kafir with nice clothes, the Kafir has to take his clothes off and give it to the Muslims. The Kafir, when he walks inside the street, he has to wear a red belt around his neck, and he has to have his forehead shaved, and he has to wear two shoes which are different from one another. He's not allowed to walk on the pavement. He has to walk in the middle of the road, and he has to ride on a mule. And that's only for the adults, not for the children. And you can see how Islam would make the child become a Muslim. The kafir, or the child growing up in a state of kufr, he will turn to Islam. Why? Because the child will be walking along with his dad. He say, Dad, yeah? Why you got your forehead shaved? I don't know whether these Muslims, they make me do it. Why you got to walk? Why can't you ride the animal? Like the Muslims, they ride the animal like this. Why are you walking with both legs dangling on the side of the donkey? Why is it every time the Muslim comes to you, he asks you for your clothes, you give it? Why is it every time he tells you to get down from the horse, you have to take it? And not only that, he said the kuffar, they can have their churches. They can have their churches, but they're not allowed to ring the bell. And if a Muslim, he's walking by, let's say, for example, a Muslim's been on Edgware Road, for example. He's had some nice shisha, some nice steak, no hubble bubble, we don't deal with anything like that. And he's walking along and he's rubbing his belly and he's like, oh man, I don't want to upset my wife tonight. What he can do, he can go to the church, knock on the door, John, let me...
So basically the church is your home, your house. This is what it would be. He's sort of translating it. He's not translating, he's sort of speaking like from the Quran or some prophet. This is their ideology. This is what they believe. This is what the extremists believe. There's no inclusion. There's no interaction. They will say whatever they need to say until they need to do what they need to do, and listen to this part. This is the most concerning bit for me, You can take what you want from it, but I think there's a lot more what he's talking about here that he's not saying. It's not just about going and getting his head down.
Ian, okay, no problem. John has to put up Abdul Ghaffur for the night. Abdul Ghaffur with his big belly, having his nice kebab. John has to open up the church and he has to go there and sleep there nice and comfortable and say, all right, John, thank you, and then carry on going early in the morning. Which wife is going to live with John under that type of circumstances? What kind of honoring is this for me to live with John and Abdul Ghafoor comes every Friday night and sleeps in our bed as well? Of course. Because sunnah is to look after the guest, innit? I can't make you sleep on my floor if you can't. You're a Muslim, by the way. So what about when Abdul Ghafoor goes to John's house? John, sleep on the floor, and I'll sleep on the bed. What's going to happen? Tracy's going to be on the floor thinking, my husband, he's got a forehead shaved, and this one, look to this one, Khatab, mashallah. Which one's more attractive? We're not gay, but I'm just saying. A man with his forehead shaved and one belt around his neck and two different colored shoes, or Amir Khatab. Amir Khatab, we're talking about here now, with that nice Chechen hat, big beard, you know, a bit to the side, yeah? And he's got the badges there, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, yeah? And he's got a big gun, and he's got a big camouflage jacket on, nice boots, gloves as well. Even if he's got a couple of fingers missing, still looks attractive, yeah?
So, the boots, the camouflage, the whatever that is, I have no clue. I'm quite sure Lumna, the Pakistani woman, the Muslim woman who has her own YouTube channel, will probably deep dive this video. You'll probably see this video floating about. But the point is, you know, we're talking about combat gear. We're talking about fingers missing. This is quite common when you're dealing with explosives and stuff, or you're in combat. You know, it's a common thing, you know what I mean? This is the caliphate he's talking about. This is armed men, you know, treating Christians like second-class citizens, you know. Just, it's not much left to go, guys.
What's Tracy going to do? John's in for a problem. He just let him in for a kebab, he lost his own wife as well. So everyone's going to become Muslim. That is, my dear brothers, the Islamic State.
So, guys and girls, that is the Islamic State. You know, that is the ideal world for some extremists in Great Britain today. And, you know, the government would argue that there's just a small group of people and, you know, this is just an ideology, you know, but it's quite serious. It's quite a big threat to Christianity. You know, I mean, it's an out and out blatant admission of wanting to take over, you know, and there's many, many like them, as you can see with the Palestinian marches, you know, every Saturday. Hundreds upon thousands of people are out on the street, you know. And so you can see the support that they get as well, you know. And that's how they'll do it, just exactly how with the governments. A government will support them, enable them, and a certain segment of the community from whatever nation that they're in will go along with them due to fear, you know, and thinking that they'll be okay when the crunch comes, you know. And, you know, this is something that I truly believe isn't that far away, you know. And when I'm talking about far away, I'm talking about after my daughter and after her kids, you know, that it's not that far away, you know. There's enough people out there, scholars, professors, you know, university people, the most intelligent people in the world, are warning Great Britain about what they're doing. The Muslim countries around the world are warning Great Britain about what they're doing. Now, I tried to research this guy, find out who he is and all that, but, you know, he's can't really get that much on him. The names are difficult and difficult to spell. Even if you know the name, it's difficult to spell and to search it properly. But what I can take from this is Britain. This is an English accent. You guys will know exactly what part of England this accent's from. I would think myself you're talking Leicester, Bedford, Luton. I don't know. You can tell me what you think. But this is a British accent. This is a man who I believe has spent a long time in Britain, if not all his life. And that's a problem, guys. That's a problem. And the problem is that the government aren't doing nothing about it. The government are enabling them with what we see with Christianity. We've lost our bells already. Our bells are gone. There's the first thing he says coming to fruition, you know. Our Easters are getting cancelled in primary schools. Can you understand? why I worry. Can you understand when I do these videos, I do them with the security of knowing that in a court of law, I could prove to a judge why I'm so worried about my daughter's future, and I can bring evidence to prove that any human being in Great Britain that has a wee girl, a daughter, and looks at the details that I know would be concerned for the future of their daughter in that country. That's nuts. I'm telling you, I can prove in a court of law that I've got genuine fears for my daughter growing up in Great Britain today because of the rhetoric of the government and how they're pushing Islam into Great Britain and forcing people to accept it by threatening them with laws, new laws, Islamophobia laws. One of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard in my whole entire life. Are you telling me, guys, that there's not something going on here? That we've got evidence like this, and yet our government are wanting to silence us? They want to silence people like me because I'm worried about my daughter, and I love my country, and I love my country folk, and I want to warn my friends and my loved ones. You know, maybe you should be aware. Maybe you should be thinking of moving. You know, I don't know how far away it is, guys. I don't know. I really don't know. But it's worrying. It is worrying. It is so worrying. And it's worrying because it's there. Doesn't matter how big it is. Doesn't matter how many there is. It's there. In my life, growing up in the United Kingdom, at 55 years old in 2025, I see a threat to not only my religion, but to children up and down the breadth of the country. First time ever I've ever seen it. It's horrific what's happened. Absolutely horrific. The amount of children that have been affected. And our government are wanting to bring out Islamophobia laws to shut us up. Yeah, I'm worried, guys. And that is exactly why I'm worried. And God help us all. I'm Freedom Dad. God bless.